Okay. I thought I would talk a little bit about Great Meadows Foundation, of which I'm the director, and put that in as a kind of context in which to talk about the crisis that we have had here. Great Meadows Foundation actually is an organization that is primarily aimed at artists, and its goal really is to support the development of critical discourse in the art community here in Louisville in Kentucky. And we help artists to travel state, to go and visit major exhibitions, to meet with people, to connect, to network, to engage in conferences and so on and so forth. We also support curators in the state, helping them to move around. The crisis here has really, like everywhere, it caused a shutdown, and our exhibiting institutions were closed for a long time. And also, it hit the artists here very hard. The majority of artists who live and work in this community work in the gig economy. And of course, if you're working as a waiter and so on and so forth, these are jobs that were hit very hard. And then artists were trying to register for unemployment and finding themselves in a very difficult situation. As a response to this, we suspended a round of grants that we would have given in July, recognizing that there was no way that anybody was going to be able to travel for a long time. And we put that resource together with funding that we were able to raise together with two other organizations towards an artists support fund called, and we worked with the KMAC Museum here in Kentucky, and also an artist organization called Elevator Artist Resource. And together we created micro grants of $500 to help artists as immediately as we could. The reason we kept it that low was really so we could avoid any paperwork that was to do with taxation, and the money could go to them without them having to fill out forms and so on, to help them really get through this period until they were able to find some other kind of support through unemployment and so on. To date, we have given out 376 grants and have raised a total of $195,000. The complexity of the crisis here, of course, was complicated by the troubled socio-political climate in the United States, the historically growing divide between the wealthy and the poor, and a nation divided by the rhetoric of a rather reactionary president and a divided government. What we were witnessing, and social media helped to make this really visible, was the amount of racism that was occurring in the nation, and also the brutality of the police in the nation. This helped expand the visibility of the Black Lives Matter movement, and particularly there's a big focus on Louisville because of the murder of Breonna Taylor in her own home by the local police. These combined circumstances and events have had an immense effect on our art community. And they've caused problems for artists and curators and exhibiting institutions alike. Institutions, in their turn, have started more radically, I think, to address racial inequality in both their staffing and in their exhibiting policies. And our media outlets have actively foregrounded BIPOC artists and issues. These circumstances have also cast new light on projects that were already in the pipeline. For instance, coincidentally benefiting exhibitions that had been planned, such as Black Before I Was Born, which was to be shown at the Roots African American Museum, which then was turned into a virtual exhibition. Or Ballot Box, which was a show about the 100th anniversary of women gaining the vote in the United States, which was planned for Metro Hall in the city, but then had to be moved to 21C Museum Hotel. And a third project, We All Declare for Liberty, which was an exhibition in the pipeline reflecting on the current political problems in the nation, which was at Quappy Projects. There's a kind of collaboration has started to occur or to develop more readily than had happened before because of the need for us to share resources in these times of crisis. One other thing that did happen and was beneficial was that the critic in residence that the foundation brings to the city once a year, Coan Jeff Beza, had to actually stay for 4 months. He was stuck here, and one of the benefits we gained from that is that he was able to do virtual visits and critics with many, many artists in the city during that time. For the future, I'll just quickly close up here. I guess the perception is that there are changes are going to occur in the structure of the American art world. We do get a sense of decentralization happening. And I think that the goals that we would like to see from where I work is that the support and collaboration between arts, institutions and organizations across what we call the flyover zone here in the Midwest would actually grow. And for the future, what we intend to do is to try and strengthen and build those connections between art communities such as ours and St. Louis and Detroit and so on. I think that the shifts that are happening mean that we're going to have a very different kind of art world here in the States in the future, or at least that's my hope, and that we move away from the emphasis on the coasts. So that's all I really have to say at this point, and I'm happy to talk with anybody afterwards.